Greetings, agents of change. I hope I have found you handling your business. Business for the King on behalf of him. You know, today I thought of the book, My Utmost for His Highest. And I think that's the ultimate goal of every citizen. What is your utmost? What does that entail? Is it lip service? Is it going through the traditions, through sitting on the church pew? Is it sitting around waiting? What is your utmost? You know, this is where vision comes in. I've been talking about vision lately, and I've received such good feedback on the last few sessions, and people have been asking for more regarding their vision. To me, vision is the nuts and bolts of your life. It is the reason why you are here and how you are executing your purpose. Otherwise, I believe, you know, as many of you know, I was trapped in religion for 35 years till I discovered the kingdom and my vision, and I documented it as I went through Dr. Miles Monroe's mentorship program. And I took a lot of time to sit and think. And I think that is one of the issues most people have, is they are being pulled to and fro. You're being pulled by people, you're being pulled by projects that don't necessarily line up with the vision, or you're just caught up in the various religious things that are going on in the church per se. Now, this past year, that has not been an issue. So I hope in the meantime that you have discovered your vision. And if you haven't, you need to. We've made it easy for you in the School of Influence on our website. But you know, it should have given you some downtime to really sit and reconsider. And that was one thing we discussed last year when the lockdown began. We are a year in now. What do you have to show for that year? Is there any fruit? And you know, if you do not bear fruit for the kingdom, he cuts you out. This isn't a mansy-pansy religious club that we are in. This is the King and his kingdom and the influence of it on his territory here on the earth. How do you influence? It's through your vision. It's not just through lip service, but it's producing something for the kingdom, producing of yourself, which you were born to manifest here on the earth. I want to before I get into it much more, because I'm ready today, I do want to thank everybody for joining us. Let us know where you're from. And I have to tell you, I am genuinely, deeply grateful for the outpouring, not only of support for our vision for the Agents of Change, which is the corporate vision that encompasses your personal vision as well, if you choose, but also for the financial support. It has been probably record highs. I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't look at the numbers. I don't get paid. You guys don't pay me. I don't receive any money. Of course, love offerings when people have sent them, of course, and I'm grateful. But I have to tell you, the projects that we are doing and the different various things that we are producing, it takes finances, as does your vision as well. So thank you for sowing and having the trust in what we are doing at the Agents of Change. Honestly, we want to be a support system for you, but even more so than that, provide you the resources and tools to engage in your vision and the discipleship of others. We give you the tools for you to change your mindset, and in doing so, you can also disciple others, mentor others, whatever you want to call it, and change the world one mind at a time. That's what Jesus did. That was his vision. That's why he came, to bring the kingdom back. But we have to change our mindset, and that is hard work. You can set up people in a brand new house. You can go to third world nations, second world nations, set them up with houses and food and more shoes and clothing. But if they don't have a changed mentality, you have done them no service. You have brought them a disservice. And this is what I've seen the church has to do. Then you have to perpetually provide for them, and you have become their source. Teach them how to be their own source. So whatever your vision entails, the world is waiting for it. I don't think you realize how vital you are to your generation, how vital your vision is to your generation. So I have one question I want to begin with today. Now, I want you to really think about this. Don't dismiss it. Don't let it roll over you. What if I came to you in an email tomorrow and I said, you have just inherited $60 million. I want to know, what would you do with $60 million? You should already know. You should be able to tell me in the next 2 minutes, 1 minute, what your plan is. If you don't know, then you have not taken life seriously. You have not committed yourself to a vision. You have not committed to producing fruit. This is why God withholds resources, finances, people from you, because you don't have a clue. So I want to know, what would that look like in your life if I were to send you an email when you wake up in the morning and said you have just received $60 million? What would you do with it? The problem is most people, especially coming from religion, would squander it. The people from the world would squander it. They're one and the same. They don't have a vision and they don't dream big enough. I believe that we are doing a big disservice to the kingdom because we are limiting ourselves by what we see and not by what we know. The king owns everything, but he's waiting on you. It's just the same as the prodigal son. He went, he took the little bit that was his. He says, I own my inheritance. And he went and he squandered it. And where did he find himself? I mean, he went so far off the track of life. Imagine ending up on a farm in the pig pen, eating the pig food, the leftover scraps of food. That's where he ended up in his life. Because he thought, this is mine. I'm going to take it, squander it. Live with all the pleasures I can think of. And unfortunately, I believe Jesus described most people. Most people he cannot trust with money. So I ask you again, what would you do with $60 million? And don't think God is not capable to get it to you. But if you cannot even manage the $600 in your bank account, if you cannot even manage the $6,000 that you have in savings, what in God's name on this side of earth would you think he would give anybody more if they cannot manage? That's the problem. That's the problem. Most religious people would consume it. They would buy a house in a nice neighborhood. Now, don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with having a house, a nice house that suits you in a nice neighborhood. But that is not our pursuit. That is a byproduct of living in the kingdom. You see, people who don't live in the kingdom, they talk about things. They talk about acquiring things. But kingdom people, we talk about vision. We talk about ideas. We're transferring ideas. We're bouncing ideas off one another. There is nothing more important on the earth that you can do than engage in your vision. The problem is those of us that came from religion don't have a clue because we weren't trained. I wasn't trained. You couldn't get more religious than me. And I did not have a clue. But I have to tell you, in 2010, I became alive because I discovered my vision. I documented, I wrote it down, and it was trapped within me the entire time. You were sent here with it. So that leads us to today. The most frustrated person in the world is someone who has a dream but doesn't know how to make it come to pass. Now, when I started teaching this back in 2009, 2010, after I had learned it, after I had started applying it to my life, then I started sharing it and teaching it from living it. And I noticed not everybody could catch it. Not everybody could grasp it. And I struggled with this. And I was like, I don't understand. Why don't you want to make your life count? Who wants to go through the rigmaroles, the boring rituals, the day in and day out, the same old, same old? Who wants to go through that? I would want to get high too if I was stuck in that rat's trap. I would want to go, listen, there are so many people that I've encountered in the past few years, and they love their wine, and they can't go a day without their wine. And they're trying to figure out, how do I stop drinking wine every day? How do I stop drinking alcohol every day? They feel they need this in order to cope with life. I think they're just bored and on that hamster wheel, and they don't have a clue. So this is the most frustrating person. You have a dream and you don't know how to execute it. Now, one thing I want you to realize about vision is it comes in phases. Once you start executing it, once you understand what it is, you must make a decisive decision. You must make a decision to implement it. And I think that's one of the biggest issues people have, is making up their mind and just doing it. Some people sit around talking about it. Some people sit around writing about it. Some people sit around thinking about it, but yet never actually initiating it. So make a decision. Take the first step. One of the mottos that I've been sharing since 2010 is dream big, but build small. So you start small. And remember, you are as poor as your thoughts and only as wealthy as your vision. God will give you everything you need once you are committed to your vision. And if it scares you, then that tells me you're onto something. Your vision should be bigger than you. You guys, we serve the King of the universe. There is nothing he won't do to aid you in accomplishing why he sent you. But you must make a decision and initiate it. So, according to Solomon, the difference between wealth and poverty is by what you see. What do you see? When I meet with you, all I want to talk about is your ideas. All I want to know is your vision. Where are you going? Where are you at? Are you at a stumbling block? Are you in a season that's very challenging? I understand that. All of us go through the drought seasons, the deserts, before we get to the mountaintops and the rainforests, where it's the abundance of rain. All these songs we sing about. But when it comes to engaging, most of the time, when it comes to whatever season that is going on in your life, you must have a vision. That's what helps you get through the seasons. Seasons are temporary, but your vision, if it's legitimate, will outlive you. So let's recap some of the obstacles in reaching vision. Now, these aren't obstacles to God. These are human obstacles. Time limitations. A lot of the times, we're wasting time on things that have nothing to do with your vision. Distractions, procrastinations, indecisiveness. This is unconscious decision making. Sometimes people just can't make a decision. Well, you need to sit down and have a conversation with yourself. And if you still can't come to terms with making a decision, that's where godly, wise counsel comes into play. And trust me, you can't trust everybody with this. Some people don't understand you. Some people have no idea about vision. Some people are so religious minded, they're already preparing for the rapture. They are already stockpiled. So go to the right people. Another obstacle in reaching the vision, shortage of money or resources. You don't understand. That's a myth. There is no shortage. You're going by what you see. But rather than going by what you see in the natural, you have to go by what you know. When you know why you were sent here, and you know what that one thing is you were born to produce or born to manifest, then the resources come. You don't even have to pray for them, even though vision is part of your prayer. But let me tell you, you'll see God introduce things into your life that you're like shocked. The people he brings, the resources, the skill sets. It's fun. Another obstacle to reaching vision, mindset, attitude. A lot of people came from environments, family environments where they were negative, they never did anything. Maybe they were indecisive, maybe they weren't good managers. So maybe you don't have a reflection of what that looks like. I am so grateful I come from a family of workaholics. I come from a family of, my mom was just in the church all the time and teaching Bible study and praying for people. So you marry a workaholic with a extremely religious person and you get Trista, the best of both worlds. But I've had to tame that and understand that there's a balance and comprehend that this is bigger than you. This is bigger than me. Turn on the news, look on social media. You see things going on that you never thought you would see in your lifetime. You're like, oh my gosh, the evil is being released. I was telling my son the story about Noah, and they thought 2 by 2 the animals went on the ark. And I was explaining to him it's 7 clean animals of every kind. And I said, that was a time God regretted making man. Man had become so evil in his sight. He regretted making us. I got to tell you, I think it's come to that point already again. And that's why it's so important that you manifest your vision, because that's how the world will see the glory of the kingdom here on the earth. So I want to talk about now the number one obstacle as I have seen people learn vision, what I have seen been their downfall. And to me, it's as simple as this. The difference between the difference between dreamers and vision achievers is simply lack of discipline. You can know what you know and still not engage it, and still not wake up every day with time management, knowing I have to do this, I need to do this, and I have to do that. It takes discipline. Discipline is self-imposed standards that you put on yourself. Nobody can do this for you. Jesus woke up every morning early before the sunrise. Dr. Miles Monroe told me that historically, when I was with him in Israel, that was around 3 or 4 in the morning because the sun would come up around 5:30. He got up before the sunrise. He was disciplined. He got his instructions from the Father, and he knew where to go. He knew what to do. It says his face was set like flint towards Jerusalem. Nobody was going to sidetrack him. Nobody was going to take him off his path. And when even his disciples tried to, because they didn't understand, the closest people to him didn't even understand. He said, "Get thee behind me, Satan." They didn't understand. They were trying to comprehend it all, but it was very disciplined. Listen, discipline protects the vision. There are many distractors, professional distractors that are sent your way once you wake up and you start doing this. Discipline creates character. You aren't born with character. You aren't born with discipline. The Holy Spirit cannot give it to you, but it is necessary for you to succeed in this. Now, you need to police yourself because there is something that you want to achieve that is more important than the other temptations. You know, I could sit around and I don't know what other ladies do my age. I have no idea. In Naples or in the mountains, you know, there's social clubs and luncheons, and I'm not sure, but there's a reason I don't know, because I'm busy engaging in the vision. So discipline is necessary. And I believe the other thing is you have to simplify your life. It's necessary. Otherwise, we have so much stuff we're bombarded with. You need to learn to say no. You can say it with a smile, like the dove, like the sheep Jesus said that we are, but you need to be shrewd. Like, who was it? Nehemiah, when he was building the wall. He says, who's going to build this wall if I come down and talk to you? I'm busy. I am building the wall. His vision, he was born to build the wall that his ancestors had built, that the Babylonians had raided. It was the wall of Jerusalem. That's all he wanted to do. And guess what? The king gave him all the resources needed. He says, go get the tar from my pit. Go get the stones, the rock from my quarry. I'll give you laborers and men. Are you kidding me? The king of the enemy of Jerusalem had given so much favor to him that he says, take everything that's of my resources and use it to build the wall. That's the metaphor for what God will do for you once you get serious. Wow, Japan. Japan's in the house. Hello. I haven't been looking over here. Georgia, Virginia, Romania. Good to see you. Texas, I see you guys. There's a bunch of you. I can't go through them all. I don't want to get sidetracked. Let's look at Proverbs 1. Solomon, he said, let the wise listen and add to their learning. You cannot add to your learning if you're talking all the time. I have people, they come talk to me and they just talk to me and they tell me what they're going to do or what they don't know to do, but they never ask, what's your advice? And I'm like, wow, like I have my opinion. I have what I think is a very simple solution, but if you don't ask, you'll never learn. So use wisdom. Zip it when you're around people who may have been there before you, anyone that you go to counsel, and let the discerning get guidance. That's what Solomon said, the wisest man. Let the wise listen. A fool is a person who talks too much. They come and they tell you, I'm going to do all this, and they never say, hey, do you have any ideas for me? What do you think? And you know what? A lot of times they will be able to connect you with somebody that they know that can be a blessing to the vision, that can add to it. And let the discerning get guidance. So be wise, be discerning, get guidance. Verse 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. Lord have mercy. Let it not be said, you are a fool. Do not despise wisdom and do not despise discipline. Proverbs 23:23. Buy the truth and do not sell it, not for love or for money. You see, a lot of times you can allow somebody that you fell in love with completely take you off track. A lot of times people can get so distracted with money that they are taken off track. And then he continues, get wisdom and discipline and understanding. He always ties wisdom to discipline. For discipline is the highest order of living. So look at what you are doing instead of what you want to be doing. And then it's very clear what you are committed to. So we need to become disciplined in our finances. We must be disciplined in our health. Otherwise, you are of no good use for the kingdom if you can't even manage your blood pressure. You must manage your resources that God has given you. You must manage your family, become disciplined. Let me tell you, I'm very disciplined with my children. They don't get away with a whole lot. I don't know what God put in us mommies. I think we have like 10 senses. My poor kids can't get away with anything, but neither could I as a child. And I thank God for that. Man, if I ever lied, the few times that I lied, I never got away with it. Always came to light. Always. And boy, did I get in trouble. We need to become disciplined also in our vision. So in every area of your life, be a steward. Be a disciplined person in these areas. It's not impossible. It's required. You are a shining example of a kingdom representative on the earth. Let me tell you, some of the most undisciplined, lazy people that I have ever encountered are found in the church. I've had some of them work for me at the hotel. Never again. Biggest mistake. They used my resources for their ladies' meetings. This one person I'm thinking of, she was so unhealthy. Her knees could not hold up her weight. And then one time she fell and she sued me because she walked around a corner and her knees couldn't handle the weight. And she sues me as a front desk clerk. She's behind a front desk. She couldn't manage her finances, her health, her own resources. And I got to tell you, it's hard to take religious people seriously. And the world sure doesn't, because they're watching your lives. Nobody's perfect. We all have imperfections. But as long as you are striving to please the Lord in every area of your life and to be a good steward, remember, He will never give you more than you are capable of managing. One of my favorite parables. He gave the talents. Jesus said, I gave talents according to their ability for them to manage. And the one guy that mismanaged the one talent he was given, Jesus took it away from him. And what did he do? He says, put him, I'm going to have to pull it up. Somebody pull it up. Beat him with many blows. I can't remember if it was that one because it was 4 times when people mismanage. Beat him with many blows and put him in the fire. Something like that. Somebody will have to look it up. The parable with the talents. There's 4 different ones with people who mismanaged. Oh, put him in the darkness where there's gnashing of teeth. That's what he did. Because he mismanaged. If you mismanage, Jesus called him wicked and lazy, not disciplined. Wicked and lazy, and put him out into utter darkness where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. Simply because he mismanaged. So manage your vision. Manage your resources. Become disciplined in your life. You have to listen. I was out, my dad has a 112-foot Westport. It's a big yacht. And he has a chef. And I know how my dad eats. Meat and potatoes, bacon, pork chops one night. Foods that I don't eat. I've had to become very disciplined in my food, and then your body starts craving the healthy foods. I eat my apples. I brought all my food, all my kids' food, and Matthew likes to eat how my dad eats, and he ate all that. And even when we came back, my husband Matthew says, "My goodness, I can't believe how we ate on the boat." And I'm like, "How you ate on the boat?" I mean, you have to manage. I brought my own water, my own cranberry juice that I make. I brought all my fruit, organic stuff. I don't want pesticides. I don't want that stuff. I brought my own dinners. I felt kind of bad, but I love to eat clean. And when I don't eat clean, I feel it weighs me down. I don't feel right. I don't like that feeling. I'm not going to eat pork chops. Lord have mercy. So anyway, that's another session. You got to eat clean. Your body was sourced from the ground, and you should be eating the same things that are sourced from the ground. That your plants, your vegetables, your fruits, that's what we were designed to eat. I eat protein at night, but not so much anymore, but I do like my protein. But you got to eat clean if you want to keep this body running, because it's tough to eat clean. It's so easy, convenience food, the processed foods. But listen, if you do not manage your health, then you will lose it. So it's key. All right, you guys, I'm sorry. I'm only on slide 9 and I have 29 and it's been 30 minutes. So we're going to stop and I'm going to do part 2 in 2 weeks. You guys have an amazing Easter. Thank you for joining me. Philippines is in the house. Who else? Canada, Dominion holder from Canada. Very good. Yes, thank you. Pastor Roy in the Philippines. Wealth is not a mystery. It's a product of management. Yes, sir, indeed. If you only knew. People waste their time praying for money, and the decades go by and they wonder, what happened? Because you don't know how to manage it. Who else is on here? Dream big, build small. All right, wow, a lot of you guys are on today. Discipline protects your vision and creates character. Good. A lot of good reverb on here. Okay, I'm going to stop now because there's quite a bit of comments. You are very welcome. The United Kingdom is in the house. Georgia, Julie, hi. Annette, Canada, Colorado is in the house. Joseph Harris, Denny Forrester. Good to see you guys. I wish you an amazing Easter. Be blessed, be with your family, be with those that you love, and I will see you in 2 weeks as we continue this session. And let me finish out with my Kingdom Business song.